Hey guys, this is your Cloud Strategist channel. I'm Sridhar. In this video series, we've been looking at the Cloud Solutions Provider program, and in the last video, we looked at what is Azure. We spoke about infrastructure as a service and platform as a service component, and how these services could be used by partners of different types in order to render solutions to their customer. Now, let's assume you as a partner have signed up for MPN ID, you have set up your CSP agreements with Microsoft, and now you are ready to consume Azure, either for yourself or for your customer to build solutions. But you want to understand, how is Azure structured? So that's a very common question we typically get from partners and customers. In order to understand the hierarchy, here is a diagram that I've made for you. On the top, where you're looking at here in this corner, is something called the Microsoft account, and that's typically your Microsoft online account. If you are an Xbox player, if you've been consuming any other services from Microsoft, probably you already have an online account. As an end user or as a consumer, you could use that account to go and buy Azure and start consuming it for yourself. But now let's assume this is an organization. It's not a consumer user scenario, but it's for your organization or for your customer's organization, in which case what you need is something called a work account. That's relevant to a customer domain. So let's say you have a customer abc.com. Their work account would be something like users@abc.com. So that's a domain, and if you have a customer that's got an on-prem infrastructure and they are running their own Active Directory, probably they have their own existing domain. It is analogous to the same thing in the Azure world as well, whereby this work account or the customer's domain is getting set up at the Azure Active Directory. Now, that's a cloud service that Microsoft has as the underlying authentication and authorization platform for creating accounts for customers and for consumer users. Now, assuming those two accounts are in place, you got your domain for your customer, there are multiple ways by which you can actually add an Azure subscription to that customer tenant. What you see here is the logical customer tenant. Imagine that's your customer organization, and now you have choice of adding Azure subscriptions. That could be one or more Azure subscriptions that you could add. But what is a subscription? Subscription is a logical entity under which you could start adding resources. Think of that as a logical entity based on which customers and partners get billed. For example, I add a subscription using my credit card. So my credit card gets billed for all the consumption that happens for that subscription that's attached to my credit card. Now imagine a partner is offering an Azure subscription to one of your customer and you're building solutions for them, in which case you would buy that through the CSP program, and that's the series we've been talking about. So that CSP program allows you to add a subscription to the same customer tenancy. Now that also means a customer tenant could have subscriptions coming from n number of sources. It could be multiple CSP partners who are adding subscriptions to the customer, or probably the customer already has an enterprise agreement directly with Microsoft, or they might have a credit card subscription that they've had using their credit card. All of these can exist in the same tenancy, and resources can be created in each of those subscriptions independently. Now there could be various reasons why some of the resources up here needs to talk to other resources in the other subscription, or they might choose to have this as a logical boundary between two different departments so that they don't talk to each other. Everything works, so you have the flexibility of keeping individual subscriptions in isolation. You could have the resources within those subscriptions talk to each other. There are different ways by which you could configure that. Now remember, that's the same work account that somebody might be using it for their Office 365 consumption. So it's kind of a single sign-on scenario for you to consume both Azure and as well as Office 365. And if at all you're consuming Dynamics, that would again still fall under the same account that you have set up. Now that should give you a clear idea on what are the different scenarios, right? So you as a partner can actually start creating subscriptions for your customer tenancy through CSP. There could be more than one subscription. Don't worry about other ways by which the customer is already buying subscriptions. So you could still add your own subscription on offer services based on the CSP model. I hope that gave you a good idea on how it's structured within the Azure platform, and get started right away in building solutions for your customer. Thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe. See ya.